Savage Divinity is a web novel I recently finished reading. It's a story about a modern man who gets reincarnated into the body of a young slave. The story follows his journey as he tries to survive in this brutal new world. It's filled with monsters, gods, demons, and humans. This is a land where the strong rule and the weak survive, where there is no such thing as peace of mind or safety of your very being if you cannot protect yourself. This story is about a man who'll have to abandon his morality in order to survive. But I'm not here to talk about him. Today, I want to talk about Ai Qing, a normal human girl, a dreamer. Ai Qing is one of the most tragic characters in the world of Savage Divinity. Her story made me so sad and angry. Angry at the world that she lives in and the people in it. Angry at even the hero of the story falling rain. So, today I want to talk about Ai Qing, this simple village girl, how she was stepped on and how she was used and betrayed by those who loved her, how she changed the empire and the world, and why her story still haunts me. Let's start from the beginning at the origins of this world. Act 1. The Azeri Empire. The Azeri Empire is the last human stronghold left in the world. Surrounded by massive walls and divided into key regional pieces, the central, north, east, west, and south provinces, it is home to monsters, bandits, cannibals, and beastkin, humans, gods, and ancestral beasts. With these powerful forces and massive walls, what exactly is this empire afraid of? Everything. The entire world is ended and is a wasteland full of permafrost, deserts, and volcanic badlands. Vast war bands of defiles roam the world looking for anything to eat, pillage, or kill. Whatever remnants of large clans, powerful sects, and rich families banded together after the defiled attacked. The demonic sect, eaten alive. The martial alliance, turned to dust. There is only the Azeri Empire now. So, what exactly are the defiled and how do they threaten the Azeri Empire? The defiled are monstrous humans corrupted by supernatural specters. In their ranks are beasts, bandits, cannibals, and demons. They are beings of chaos, hatred, and anger and destruction. They are constantly attacking the empire, seeking the destruction and assimilation of all sentient life. And for more than 10,000 years, the Azeri Empire has resisted their constant advancement. But the empire is beginning to falter, and cracks are beginning to show. Within the empire, civilians number in the hundreds of millions, most of them crammed into cities, but thousands of towns and villages exist. In those cities, civilians are granted a level of protection by the Imperial Army and martial arts force. But outside city walls, in villages and small towns, there is no protection. The empire simply doesn't have enough resources to protect everyone. People are left to fend for themselves and are under constant threat by wild beasts, bandit groups, and the occasional defiled war band that manages to sneak through the outer walls. If any of these groups come in contact with a town or village, the people in them are subjected to untold horrors. Some are taken into slavery, some brutally tortured and killed, and those are the lucky ones. These people know that there's no one coming to help them. This is the life for a lot of civilians under the empire, and why this world is so savage and brutal. It is widely accepted that your wealth and status is determined by the heavens themselves. So if you were born into a poor village or a slave, it's just meant to be, and no matter what you do, you cannot rise above your station. Only the strong survive, and if you were born weak, you will remain weak and at the mercy of those stronger for the rest of your life. Act 1.5 on the Western Shore. On the western shore of Treasure Lake, nearly forgotten by the world, lies Ai Qing's village. It is thousands of miles away from the nearest city, surrounded by danger. Local bandit lords roam around her and are constantly looking for trouble, free from any sort of supervision, with local authorities either ignoring their existence or cooperating with them. Villagers make a quiet living fishing and hunting. It is a hard life, but for Ai Qing, it is a prosperous one, because she has the love of her friends and family. But that all changed when the bandits came knocking on her gates. Ai Qing's father, a barely worthwhile physician, was taken from his home in order to heal their injured leader. Ai Qing's village was abandoned by the central province, and villagers were left to fend for themselves, and drunk on power, these local bandits could do whatever they wanted. Everyone knew that no one was coming to help them, so they could only suffer in silence. Ai Qing could only hope that her father would return home safely. After 2 weeks, the bandits returned with her father's head on a stick. Her father had failed to heal their leader, and in their rage they violated her mother and murdered her brother in front of the entire village. Ai Qing only escaped because she'd been out playing with friends. Losing her family, Ai Qing was taken in by a villager named Uncle Wei. Ai Qing lived with his family for a while and even became friends with his daughter Bei. His family was the only one who was willing to give her a home. All the other villagers were scared of the bandits returning and taking her. But once Uncle Wei had injured his back, he could not take care of her anymore, and she had to be sent to live with the villager's family. At first, life was good. She was treated well by the family, but that slowly changed as Gen, the son of the village chief, began to make advances on her. Gen wanted her at all costs, and every day he would try to pressure her to get married to him. He became obsessed with her, and fearing for her safety, Ai Qing moved away to a remote shack at the edges of the village. There she would dream of a better life and worked each day to survive. 5 years pass. Act 2, Falling Rain. After leaving the village chief's house, Ai Qing is further ostracized from the village. To make things worse, Gen comes by every day with increasingly demanding marriage proposals, but Ai Qing does not give in and refutes him each time. Throughout it all, Ai Qing still secretly wishes for a prince to appear and take her away, and this is where the main character, Falling Rain, appears. Washing up on the shore of Treasure Lake, Ai Qing stumbles upon a young man with tattered and blood-covered clothing. Ai Qing, feeling sympathy for him, takes him into her hut to nurse him back to recovery. This is the monumental act of kindness in the world she lives in. Were it another person, they would have likely slit his throat and robbed him. Act 3, A Flicker of Hope. Ai Qing takes care of Rain for days, nursing him back to health while he is in and out of consciousness. At first, their relationship is hostile, but they grow closer and closer as the days grow past. Rain quickly recovers, and the conversations become the highlight of his day. When Rain is finally lucid enough to walk, he reveals that he is Falling Rain, the youngest legate in 1,000 years, a great war hero with enough wealth, power, and influence to take her away and be free. Finally, her prince has arrived. Fallen Rain takes Ai Qing with him to meet the village chief. The villagers are absolutely terrified of him. They've heard the stories. Ai Qing and Falling Rain leave the village together. Perhaps she'll be his wife. Gen, the village chief's son, after being humiliated by Rain, becomes jealous. The whispers in his head start to grow louder. They worm around in his head until they are impossible to ignore. They demand blood. How dare Falling Rain take what was not his? He slowly starts to change, becoming more irritable, more violent, more savage, less like a human being and more like a defiled. One day he takes his 2 best friends out on a hunt. This isn't one out of necessity. The village is well fed, but he needs to kill something to satiate his bloodlust. So he finds a bear and kills it brutally. Soaking in its blood and feeling satiated, he turns to his friends, expecting them to partake in this feast. Instead, they are horrified. They try to run. Gen feels disturbed. How can they not understand? Why can't they join him? Gen knows that they're going back to the village to report him, and he cannot let that happen lest he be cast out. Gen tries to talk to them, but they don't listen. So he kills them both and runs away. This must be all Falling Rain's fault. The whispers confirm it. It was because of him that his friends died. Gen was simply trying to save everyone, trying to expose the facade of Falling Rain. Gen walks deeper into the woods, not daring to return to the village after what he has done. The whispers direct him towards a bandit group. Act 4, The Final Betrayal. Gen comes back as defiled with a group of bandits. He slaughters almost everyone in the village, including his own mother and father. Gen takes Bei and does unspeakable things to her. She transforms and becomes a demon, getting the power to warp space itself. The whispers have fully taken over. The original Gen is nothing but a husk for the monster that now speaks. Survivors escape into the forest and find Falling Rain and Ai Qing. They come back to avenge the village and rescue the remaining souls. Falling Rain finds Gen in the forest. This is the epic showdown that we've all been waiting for. But as I said earlier in this video, this isn't about Falling Rain. So all we need to know is that Bei kills Ai Qing, taking a fatal blow that was meant for Falling Rain. Ai Qing died as she lived, struggling but full of hope and love. Rain promised Ai Qing that he would take her away, that she would be his life, that her life had meaning, but she's gone. Everything's gone. After everything Ai Qing endured, she wasn't the main character. There was no power-up, no hidden bloodline, no special powers, no special destiny, no purpose. She was just a normal village girl trying to live her life. Her experience is the norm of many side characters in fantasy stories, used and discarded by the plot and characters to serve a purpose. Whether that be an emotional tool to get over a depressive arc, or a character that gets killed to give the main character a power-up. Her only purpose in the story was to fix up falling rain and give him motivation to continue fighting. She lived in a small corner of the world. She loved nature, animals, and she loved to dream.